Welcome to the Department for the Aging's training module on what to expect in an RFP. In this module, we discuss the sections of an RFP, including what to look out for. Every RFP is broken down into several sections. An introductory section, which includes basic information and proposal submission instructions. A main section, which includes program background, program expectations, proposal instructions and evaluation, the list of attachments, proposal evaluation and contract award procedures, and a final addenda section. Let's take a moment to look at each of these sections a little bit closer. The introductory sections begins with basic information with regards to the specific RFP. This section contains information about the due date, the proposers, also known as the bidders conference, the amount of funding and the way the funding will be allocated, the catchment areas and competition pools, and the name and email address of the person to contact should you have questions. We highly recommend going to the bidders conference. DFTA will often use the bidders conference to walk through key highlights of the program, answer questions that have been submitted to DFTA prior to the conference, and provide you with the opportunity to ask questions of a panel of DFTA staff about the RFP. Another benefit to the conference is that you will hear answers to questions you might have eventually had but didn't occur to you at that point. The proposal submission instructions section provides a summary of what is expected of you as a proposer. It is recommended that you send us your submissions 24 hours in advance of the proposal due date in case there are issues with connectivity, as there are no more paper submissions to RFP. This section also provides a summary of the documents you are required to submit and those that are optional. The next major portion of the RFP is illustrated in this sample table of contents. You'll see that included in this main section are the following subsections: program background, program expectations, proposal instructions and evaluation, list of attachments, and proposal evaluation and contract award procedures. Let's now take a closer look at each one of these subsections. The first subsection is program background. This section can vary from RFP to RFP, but generally speaking, it provides an overview of the current program, how it started, and where DFTA wants to see it go. It often contains detail about the types of contracts we are looking to award and why. It provides DFTA's rationale for some of the decisions that have been made related to the program being procured. Next is the program expectations, proposal instructions, and evaluation section of the RFP. This section is broken into subcategories for which DFTA has established expectations. Often, one will find categories like program approach, organizational capability, and budget and reporting. This section contains DFTA's expectations related to these subcategories, as well as how we'd like you to propose fulfilling these expectations, proposals instructions, and how we will evaluate your proposal evaluation. Keep in mind, we may have an expectation. For example, the contractor will be able to provide services for a minimum of 8 hours a day, but it is often the contractor's responsibility to tell us how you will meet this expectation. For example, we will have staff working different shifts to accommodate. The 2 shifts will be 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. to accommodate clients. Let's take a moment to review some specifics with regards to proposal instructions and the evaluation sections. The proposal instructions are different in each of the subsections, so pay careful attention to what DFTA is asking you to do. We might ask you to fill out a section of a form, submit a list of names, or attach a document. Often, if not always, the proposal instructions direct the proposer to complete the structured proposal form, which is one of the attachments of the RFP. This form replaces the old narrative style of a proposal. Later on in the training module, we will give you helpful tips on completing this form. The evaluation section will provide information on how DFTA will be scoring what you submit in response to the proposal instructions. Pay particular attention to the point value in each section, as it will provide you with an understanding of where we are placing the greatest value. The next subsection of the RFP is the List of Attachments section. Here, proposers will find a variety of attachments, some meant to be filled out, for example, the Doing Business data form and the Structured Proposal form, while others, for example, services definitions, are simply informational in nature. The final section of the RFP is the Proposal Evaluation and Contract Awards Procedures. This section tells proposers exactly how DFTA evaluates the proposals received and how we award the contracts. For example, this section will let proposers know if price will be considered in scoring and/or if DFTA has reserved the right to skip over proposals in a ranked list for a certain reason. For example, DFTA may stipulate in the contract award procedures that it will only award 2 contracts to a proposing organization. While not included in the originally issued RFP, DFTA may issue 1 or more addenda to the RFP. Addenda contain important information about changes to the RFP and will tell you if DFTA is replacing or adding certain language. Sometimes an addendum will answer a number of questions submitted by proposers to the RFP or contain funding level changes. If changes are made to the RFP, DFTA may change the due date to accommodate the changes, and that will be done in an addendum. This concludes the What to Expect in an RFP training section. We hope this training will be a useful tool for you as you pursue RFP submissions to the New York City Department for the Aging. Thank you.